This is Snake. Can you hear me? Good. The mission is simple. Put your geek pants on and infiltrate Foxhound. If you need backup, contact Ken and Chris on their codec frequency. Ready? Snake out.
Hello everybody, I'm Ken.
And I am Chris.
This is the Geek Pants Camcast.
This is the Geek Cast Cam. What?
Pants. Pants, Chris. Pants.
Geek Pants. Cam Pants. Cam Cat.
You nailed it.
I did.
Nailed it. Anyways. Yay!
Alright, here we go.
Today, phase 1 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Believe it or not, we're both married and we routinely have sex.
Not with each other.
There's hope. There's hope for you
With the
geeks
wives.
out there.
With the wives, not us. You got it.
Why did you...
Some people might think that, well, you just said, for the record, we're married. That could mean we are married. We're both wearing rings.
That's
Chris.
right. That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
got that out of the way.
So we both have wives.
Yeah.
And we don't have sex with each other.
You never know.
I do. For anyone that watches the Halloween episode, they'll also know. We're both like...
Which is coming up after this, which we recorded first, because,
Right.
hey.
Because this is episode...
Two! In one part.
That's right. Oh, boy, oh boy.
Before we jump into this, I'm just going to quickly read to you original channel names I came up with before we went with Geek Pants.
Okay,
Because
alright.
that is in the same book as my Marvel Cinematic Universe list.
Can't go wrong.
Geek Pants was there.
Yep. Which for some reason I like, even though it's just one of those where it's like, what? But
I love
you know,
it.
Geek Pants is great.
Northern Nerds. Some of these I don't even understand. So I had the good list, and then I had these are so dumb they're not even going to be chosen. But Glass of Geek.
Oh, that's like Cup of Joe.
Yeah. Glass of Geek.
I don't want any of that.
No.
That's gross.
So Epic.
Ooh, that's actually not bad.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
Could maybe name a show after that one day.
We're definitely going to have to.
Where we blow things up Michael Bay style.
And I instantly have a t-shirt idea.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
So epic.
Yeah.
And then somebody like, maybe one of us saying about the Geek Pants Camcast. So epic, says Chris Mercier of Geek Pants Camcast.
At least it's not an arrow pointing down.
Well, yeah, but let's face it, even my wife would be like, it's not.
It's not epic.
It's not.
No.
It could be epic, but it's not.
There's the dumb ones that I don't even... Jurassic Shark.
That's actually, yeah, that one's actually really shitty.
Yeah, well, they're worse. Chalker Texas Ranger.
That's actually, that's pretty bad.
How about this one? Wish Nic Cage was here.
I like that one, actually. I like that. We shouldn't say his name too loudly because he might show up.
Boom! How much am I getting paid for this?
Yeah. Do I have to do anything at all?
No, just...
No. How much am I getting paid? Nothing.
Gone. Poof. Yeah, Nic Cage is gone. Mother Canuckers.
That one's actually not bad. That's a good wrestling tag team right there.
Mother Canuckers? That's not bad. And then when Chris Fedek is involved, obviously, which he is, eventually he'll be on the channel, because Bordoff is going to go eventually. 3 men and no baby.
Is that all of them?
That's it.
That can't be all.
That's all of it. That's what I...
Northern Nerd. Glass of Geek, I can't believe.
Glass of Geek.
That must have been hard to be between So Epic and Geek Pants.
That was actually the second choice. The thing that kept that one back is I believe there was already a channel named that.
When you said it, I was like, there's probably
It's gotta
somebody
be.
already.
Yeah.
Copyright.
Surprisingly, Geek Pants is nowhere out there.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Who would have thought?
Now it is.
Yeah,
So, Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're going to hop into Iron Man. We're going to go in order of release up to the Avengers.
Yeah.
For phase 1.
Okay.
Sound good?
That sounds great.
All right.
I'm going to give you some backstory.
Oh.
Because we had two differing opinions when this movie was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were super excited about Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I was not.
You were not.
I was really not. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was also not super pumped about Heath Ledger as Joker.
Mm.
Okay? And in both cases, I was pleasantly surprised. But that's where we were at. So I was like, and Ken was like, woohoo! Pretty much bang on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's about right. Okay. And in the end, I was right. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, you were. You were.
I was.
But I also had hesitations with Chris Evans as Captain America too.
Yeah.
So.
Which will obviously
we
come up
both
in
had
here.
though. I remember we both did. On that
yeah, a lot of it was. Well, I mean, you're looking at his past movies.
Right.
Fantastic Four is basically what he is.
Yeah, Human Torch.
What he was up to, Cass.
So. Yeah.
But we'll get there. We'll get to Cass.
One step at a time.
Yeah, Iron Man. So my first point is, Robert Downey Jr. was perfect. I love how effortlessly he drops the one-liners throughout the movie. Like,
going into this, I was like, but within 30 seconds,
just sitting in that Humvee,
I was like, okay,
yeah,
all right. Even though
what we're going with,
he was not like his Tony Stark isn't like Tony Stark at all in the comics up until that point.
Now he's like,
he's
dead at the moment.
And even just the characters that they used, aside from the Hulk, were all characters like the Hulk too. Were all characters that I liked, but I was never a huge fan. I always liked the concept of these characters, but I never really was like, oh, okay. And I mean, of course, like I knew, like you knowing at the time, they didn't have Spider-Man or X-Men or Fantastic Four or any other big hits, so they had to use these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, within the first 30 seconds to a minute, like I think the first part where he was just like, no gang signs. I don't care. Throw them off.
Yeah, it's like,
and he's
so
like
good.
In the back of the Humvee with a drink, and they're all just like, I was like, wow, okay, all right, and then right from there, I mean, there's a couple of things that I don't like in the movie, but like, it was an excellent launching point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
it
really set the tone for what we were to expect.
Right, and even though I, at the time, felt like Hulk was the better of the two, and I still kind of feel like that. But it's not as it's not as night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're pretty close. They're pretty close. And I think the reason why now is because Robert Downey Jr. is still Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
Edward Norton is not Bruce Banner anymore. So
poof, gone.
But
so yeah, Downey Jr. was.
It was so good.
So good.
Like, so good. I like I said, like, I look back and I go, how did I think that this guy...
What was wrong with me back in 2007?
And it's not like I didn't think Robert Downey Jr. was a bad actor. I just thought, like, this guy's probably going to, like, get drugged out. And,
it was a weird choice. That was huge for Marvel. This is their first movie. They're putting all their money into it. They go with
a
very burnt out actor.
Literally was like, nobody was looking at
that. Was his first directing gig.
And he's like, I want this guy. They forego with insurance. I think they said they said no to the insurance. They couldn't get him insured, but they hired him anyway. And I mean,
so they took a lot of big chances with this.
Huge chances, but like, and then you watch the movie, and no matter how many times you watch the movie, like. His Tony Stark's character arc works on so many levels because, like, he starts off cool Tony Stark, gun dealer essentially, arms dealer. That's really all Stark Industries was, and then what happens in the desert literally changes him, and you see it right away. And I look back at it now, and I'm like, I don't know too many actors that would be able to go back and forth between like super cool, snarky Tony Stark, but then be able to like deliver the weight where he goes like, I almost died, and it was because of my weapons.
Yeah.
So now I got to rethink things, which was really great. But yeah, like every step of the way, like I was laughing with him.
Oh,
I was laughing at him.
I was almost in tears during that whole first scene.
You know, and then you feel for him.
Yep.
Because while he wants to make the change, you know,
his company doesn't.
Stain doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, and there's that sort of father figure type aspect to him. You know, and I mean, it's Jeff Bridges, so really.
Yeah, and you know what? Going off of that, I still believe that he is one of the best villains in the MCU.
He was really good. He was. And what I liked about it is because like he wasn't the dude in this movie.
No.
You know,
it was very like usually it's the longer hair, clean face, and we can went
or
opposite.
even like in Tron.
Like
in Tron, he's the dude.
He's the dude.
Just in Tron.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, he's not. He is a completely different character, which was refreshing.
Yeah, I mean the movie's held up great for being nearly 10 years old already.
Yeah.
Like visually, the visual effects they're still good. They're holding up.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like it doesn't seem like that long ago.
No.
But technology wise, you watch some of those movies from the 2000s, and they're not looking hot these days.
No, not at all.
So,
but like,
it's held up.
And I mean, just everyone that's involved. Like, I've never been a big fan of Gwyneth Paltrow, but her as Pepper Potts, was great.
I've never not liked her, but I've never been like, oh, I love watching Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, it was like I was saying with Anne Hathaway, where it was never anything where I was like, she's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like even in Seven, which is an absolutely awesome movie, but I'm not like, she is awesome, right? Whereas in this one,
great
like,
at giving head.
Hey! Oh, what's in the box?
Pepper Potts.
And it's not like she does anything stand out as Pepper Potts in this movie, but she's like, what I like is that like you can tell she obviously cares about Tony Stark, and that she's into him, but at the same time she's not afraid to call him on his shit.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that hard ass to her. So she does cover the full spectrum. And Happy. Happy is just.
Jon Favreau is amazing as Happy Hogan, and I mean, I think like he is the highlight in almost every movie he appears in.
Yeah.
He's so good as that character.
He's better now because he's like that. He's a dick.
Oh yeah.
Like in Homecoming, he's just this huge dick with a heart of gold. I like at the end of Homecoming where he picked Peter. You know, I thought that was really cool because the whole movie they make it seem like he fucking hates Peter Parker, just can't stand him.
Yeah.
You know, but
so,
yeah.
I mean, overall, I still at the time during Phase One, Terrence Howard was a better roadie to me during Phase One, and we'll get more into this when we talk Iron Man 2, where Don Cheadle comes in.
Okay. All right.
But Iron Man 1, I loved his chemistry with Robert Downey Jr.
I agree. Like, I mean, Terrence Howard has always been one of those actors that's sort of like hit and miss for me. You know, I liked him in Hustle and Flow. And I think Crash was the only other movie that I saw him in that I really liked him in.
Okay.
And then everything after that, like even in this one, like he's good in the sense that I was like, oh, okay, all right. But admittedly, he isn't what I pictured Rhodey would look like. Like, even just in the comic books, and I mean, obviously, we're going back for a character, I think.
I get that.
You know, but like...
like, height-wise and build-wise?
Height-wise, build-wise.
But face and the lighter tone of his skin, and, like, Don Cheadle looks more Rhodey to me.
But also with Don Cheadle, I took him more seriously as a military man.
Right.
Whereas with Terrence Howard, I didn't.
Right.
And it felt more like the jokey sidekick with him than it did with Rhodey.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the writing at the same time.
Rhodey has played more, or Don Cheadle has played more for laughs, especially in like Avengers 2 and beyond.
Later on, he is. In Iron Man 2, he's very serious, like written as a very serious character, like taking the armor and everything. Like,
yeah, exactly. But like, I mean, not to suggest that Howard wouldn't have been good in that role. I don't know. I just see Don Cheadle more so.
Okay. And we'll get more
not
into
that
that.
Howard was bad by any means. It was just, I think, and I look back at it and I realized that like part of it was that I was already starting to not like Howard.
Okay.
By the time this movie came out, so while I was kind of like, oh, okay, but I was still just like,
Right.
I was surprised they recast though.
Yeah, surprising, and that kind of comes up again with their next movie, The Incredible Hulk. Are you done talking, Iron Man?
Actually, no, I'm not. The one thing that I didn't like about this movie was how easy it was for Stain to get good with the Ironmonger suit.
Okay. Oh yeah, and I get that too.
There's a little bit of a rushed feeling towards the end of the movie, but I know that we saw like a montage scene of Tony Stark getting better with his suit, but by the time that Ironmonger suit's made, there's unless
he doesn't have any practice with it.
He's able to own Tony Stark, and the only reason why Tony Stark wins is because of that whole they fly into the atmosphere. Right. That was the only part where and to this day, every time I watch it, I'm just kind of like.
It does have a rush ending. And I feel like it could have used another 10 minutes, so maybe just to get to that point.
If they just kind of showed him, and I know it's one of those things. Maybe it's just me. Obviously, everyone loves the movie, but if it was just me, I think I would have maybe even just a couple of minutes of him in the suit trying to get a feel for it, so then at least you can kind of go, well,
Instead even if it's
so quick.
Wow, yeah, because I guess the way they revealed him was the lights coming on and everything in the dark, which is kind of it was a creepy way to reveal the Ironmonger. It was very cool, and it kind of it's very similar to the way they showed Hulk off for the first time in Avengers.
Yeah.
Right on the helicarrier in the dark and just coming and even the Incredible Hulk too. It's actually just when it's a big character, it's kind of the way they revealed them.
Yeah. The other thing, and this was one of those where I liked at the time because they did nothing since. I don't like is they do that 10 rings.
Okay.
So the actual group is the 10 rings, and that's a heavy allusion to Mandarin, and then that's it.
Then we never get that payoff.
We don't get that payoff at all. I mean, if they did the 10 rings as that type of ISIS type terrorist group that you don't really have to have a race attached to it.
Right.
I think that's a nice little spin. Plus, it's a clever nod for people that are familiar with the character or even fans, and they go, "Oh, right," but no payoff. And to this day, no payoff, and I don't see it happening anytime soon. So that's kind of where.
Yeah.
So in retrospect, now I'm just more so now I'm okay.
Mm. But
still, overall, an amazing first shot.
Oh, it was a great kickoff. Set the standard for everything coming.
Yeah. And then the stingers too.
Yeah.
I liked that they had the Coulson character.
Okay.
They introduced the Coulson character.
Yep.
They give you that long-winded shield.
Yeah.
What is it? Strategic homeland.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's the ending made the movie for me. Mm-hmm. Where he's just it's a bodyguard, and it's a heavy reference to the comic books, and then he's just I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
I remember just being that's awesome. That is so cool that they did that.
I love that. Then, of course, the end credits. Samuel Jackson popping up.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people assumed was going to happen, but when it actually happened, you're like, yes.
And a stinger, before it was a stinger, we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, now it's just got to stay till after the credits for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's what you expect.
Granted, they trolled us pretty hard in Homecoming.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. Yeah, they do that. Some are better, some are not.
Even just that brief bit of world building was enough for me to be like, okay, all right. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's
still great. Still an absolutely awesome movie. Still a movie that I could watch, and for the most part, be all in.
Yeah, because that came out the same summer as the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
Incredible Hulk came, I think, 2 months after. And at the time, it was very hand in hand. Which one is better? I think back, now my personal opinion is I will say Iron Man's better.
Yeah, so why?
Back then it was very tough because the Incredible Hulk was everything I wanted from a Hulk film.
So good. So good.
And that's why I honestly believe it's the hardest MCU movie to pick apart.
Yeah, like, I mean, I liked that that they didn't say that this was a full-on new version.
Mm-hmm.
Because they pick it up where he's in Brazil.
Yeah.
You know, and he's on the run. So they subtly reference the Hulk movie. They do tweak the origin a bit, which was good because, I mean, I didn't like the father aspect of the Hulk portion of the origin.
Right. The mutated poodles.
The scene is awesome. It is awesome, but it's just like... And that's an example where the movie isn't that far in between. I think there's a 5-year gap between them.
It was very small, maybe even 4. Like, it's...
And the CGI is infinitely better.
Way better. Hulk. Way better. Like, you're watching Hulk and Abomination go at it in the Incredible Hulk, and you can focus and pay attention to what's happening. That ending of Hulk...
Never mind that. We'll get to the ending real quick, but just the fact that, like, you've got a bright neon green 20-foot tall monster who literally looks like he stepped out of a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this one, he's not 20 feet tall, he's jacked.
Yeah.
Right? He's a little bit darker green, and then, like, but at the same time, he looks real. He looks more real.
He's a beast.
And you're right. Like, there isn't that whole nonsensical, like, we talk, like, the industry always like, well, now it's a million things, it's a CGI fest, and it's hard to focus. Watch the Hulk final battle, and there's nothing.
It's all these flashes, and I can't tell. To this day, I still can't really tell what's happening.
I can't even really watch it.
You want my power? Take it all.
I look at it now, and I mean, the only thing I really like about that movie is the comic storyboarding that they do for
that. I love that.
That was such a great
cool
touch. Other than that, like, I mean, this is just leaps and bounds better. And you're right, like, this one's a really hard one to pick apart, like, because, like, I like Edward Norton. Mm-hmm. His banner was great. Like, I liked how they did the breathing stuff at the beginning, where he's trying to, like, meditate. Then there's the Brazilian jiu-jitsu that he's doing, and he's trying to get a control over the Hulk, which I really liked.
Yeah.
I liked Liv Tyler as Betsy Ross.
I love Liv Tyler, and I hope that, like, up to right before Civil War, I was just under the assumption that they're totally ignoring the Incredible Hulk. It's supposed to be in this universe. They released the whole Phase 1 on Blu-ray, and Incredible Hulk was in there. Like, this is supposed to be part of this, and they're just ignoring it.
Right.
So when Thunderbolt Ross appeared in Civil War, I was so happy because it was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk is still happening.
Exactly.
It's still part of all of this.
And he was also really great.
Yeah.
He was really good.
He was perfect.
The only thing I'll say is the tweak with Emil Blonsky was the only thing that I wasn't really a fan of because, like, even though, like I said, like, Hulk was never one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
But, like, Emil Blonsky wasn't a British soldier, But other than that sort of, like, where they change the race of a character or something like that, like, other than that, I was like, okay, fine. But the Abomination was great.
Abomination was awesome.
And he was great as Emil Blonsky. Like, even though it was a completely different character, he was really good. And I really liked that they kind of went the ultimate style with it, where the whole Hulk thing was just brought out because of Steve Rogers, because they wanted to do the super soldier program, and they couldn't do it, and this was one of the ways they were trying to do it.
Yeah.
And then this is what happened between both of them, Hulk and Abomination.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and I mean Hulk is a great character because that's that body horror thing that I was talking about in the Fly, where. Like, because that's one of those where it's just like he goes from like this to that,
Yeah.
And it's scary because there's no control.
Yeah.
But man, that Harlem fight scene.
That Harlem fight scene's amazing.
Like, I mean, even just something as simple as him like breaking the car in half and then using both to like fight Abomination. Because even though Hulk, up until that point, he's never fought anything remotely close to him.
Mm-hmm.
He realizes this guy's gonna kick my ass unless I step it up.
Yeah.
And they make him much more heroic in this one than they did in the first Hulk movie.
I agree.
Yeah. and even just like, man, like that scene where he saves Betsy Ross, like in the campus scene, and then it's raining, and they're in that rock overhang, and he's sitting beside her, he's got her arm around her, like, you're just like, that is awesome. Like, it's a very, like, beautiful, touching scene, and it's great because, like, he's this big, scary monster, but he's still Bruce Banner, and he loves her, and he will never, ever do anything to hurt her, so it's just, like, that really cute little thing, so.
I've heard rumors that she'll possibly pop up again in a future
I've heard that
film.
too.
I really hope she does.
Yeah, so do I.
Because I love Liv Tyler, and I thought she was great as Betty, and I want to see that character again. I really do. And I think it's unfair that so many of those characters from that film have not appeared because of the whole Edward Norton ordeal. Like Tim Blake Nelson clearly becoming the leader in this. Where is the leader?
And that was another thing too, where like that's so like it's hard to pick apart. Well, now because we're so far removed, it's the same thing with the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
You know, if we're gonna reference now, say like if this is part of the continuity, then yeah, where's the leader?
Where is he?
Has he been?
Like, I know they're not doing any more solo Hulk films, but there's no reason he can't appear in another film.
Exactly.
And with Infinity War coming out, Thanos and everything, I'm afraid we're never going to see that.
We're not.
We're
There's
not.
No way to see it.
Unless Thanos' first move against the Avengers is to bring back villains. Abomination's still out there.
Yeah, but I mean, out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's the same Red Skull, like out of sight, out of mind. But if they don't reference it in the newest movies, most fans,
well, the casual movie
guys
not going to think,
or our wives aren't going to be like, where's Red Skull?
Yeah. She's like, who's the Red Skull?
But yeah, like
I would have liked to see the leader pop back up.
So would I, because I liked that they had that whole like buddy thing.
Yeah.
You know, I also kind of liked that he was like nerdier.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like because in the comic books, the leader is essentially this physically fit scientist
with a really big head.
Yeah, with and I mean like and they're tied, and I always like that the character because it's kind of like Superman and Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Hulk is just like anger and like just go.
Yep.
And then one of his biggest villains is the smartest guy in the world, right?
Right.
So it's very cool in that regard, and yeah, it's super disappointing, and also right, like the Abomination isn't killed off.
Yeah.
You know, well, same with Warmonger, he wasn't killed off, right? Like there's all these classic villains that are all just one and dones, right? But I think like the reason now that like we were saying was Hulk loses out is because Edward Norton like really just fucked himself so badly that they had to get someone else. And Ruffalo and the newer version of the Hulk visually is perfect.
Yeah, I prefer the Incredible Hulk over what we got, and it's just okay. To me, Norton is a better Banner. He's got the look, he's got the attitude. Like Ruffalo has this overly sarcastic and cheery vibe to him, and that to me that what we got from Norton was so much better to me.
Yeah, actually.
And maybe they figured that wasn't going to mesh with Cap and Thor and Iron Man because by this time they had all these sarcastic comedy characters, right? Because let's be honest, Marvel Universe has so much comedy in it, and the Incredible Hulk didn't really have that. And I think maybe they figured Norton wasn't going to be able to bring that.
Well, no, I think the big part was that Norton already alienated himself pretty badly.
There was a lot of that, yeah.
Like, I mean, even just the fact that, like, he literally was like, "I'll do the movie, but I'll do the script, and I'll direct it. You can call yourself the director, but I'm going to do everything, right?" So I think that was like a large part. But you're right, like it is not so much in Avengers though. It's later on that Ruffalo's Hulk is more sarcastic. Because I didn't really get that vibe in Avengers.
No, because I got a lot of sarcasm from him. Just like Black Widow showing up and talking the first time, and he's got the little jokey lines. And
yeah, you know what? You're right. It is a bit of a different.
Like, if this is taking place, if Avengers takes place after the Incredible Hulk, well, your love of your life is gone and you destroyed Harlem. Like, I would assume he wouldn't be all like, you know.
Okay, so like I'm not seeing it as much as you are, obviously. Like,
yeah.
I don't see as much because like let's table that until we get to the Hulk or to
the Avengers. Yeah, we'll get to that. But I mean, in the end, I like the darker skin, the beast.
I remember
look.
at first when we first watched it, you were like, I didn't like that he was ripped and stuff like that. And you were kind of feeling the older Hulk first, but so now the switch has happened, and because I was the same way. I liked that he was like,
I just like, and now Ruffalo's Hulk's more of like this apish looking caveman green guy.
But I gotta tell you though, like that is closer to the comic books.
Yeah,
and I like it. Like I mean,
closer to the original. Okay,
the Incredible Hulk's visual was more like Dale Keown doing the art.
Yeah, or Mike Deodato Jr.
Yes.
Which the Incredible Hulk kind of came around his run around that time.
Yeah.
So.
But I don't know. Like I mean, visually, I'm more a fan of the way they do Hulk now.
Yeah, I mean, I've come to accept that's the Hulk now, and I still love it. Don't get me wrong, I still love it. Like, the Avengers. He was amazing in the Avengers.
I guarantee you, the next time I watch the Incredible Hulk, I'll probably just be like, "You were right about everything. Fuck him, fuck Ruffalo, and this new Hulk bullshit." Yeah. You know, but yeah, just like it's after the fact that it makes it disappointing.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's the Incredible Hulk. Do you have anything to add?
Nope.
No, I think we pretty much.
Yeah.
In the end,
I find, and it's funny because now I'm realizing that like my complaints are similar for both movies because it's like they touch upon this, and this, and then we never hear about it again. Then we touch upon this, and this, and then we never hear about it again.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean it's kind of a continuous thing because now with Iron Man 2.
Yeah, like I mean at least with Bronski's character, he's a soldier already, so it makes sense that he would be better at being the Hulk than the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Iron Man 2, here we are.
Iron Man 2, so
my least favorite.
Ditto, and that's every phase. My least favorite Marvel movie. Because it's got major identity crisis issues. It doesn't know if it wants to be an Iron Man sequel or a prelude, or like it feels more like Avengers 0.5 than Iron Man 2.
Exactly. So, and it's funny because all the things that critics were shitting on Batman v Superman for, was found in this movie.
Yeah, which didn't get as much crap as Batman v Superman.
No, and I remember like even when I first watched this, we watched this in the theater, and I remember thinking like, And it wasn't
even at the time.
Like when we watched Dark Knight Rises, where we were like,
and then later on we go,
this one, it was still great, and it was a really good follow up at the time. But I remember just kind of being like, you know, and I agree. Like it's the issues. Like is it Avengers 0.5 or -1 or like,
whatever they want to go with,
or a zero issue. You know, like I mean, I like that they expand upon the Howard Stark, and Shield.
I like that.
I liked how they had a bit more of a I liked how they had like Tony Stark dying. You know what I mean? And then they hint at the alcoholism, heavily hint at it. I liked that. I even liked the Captain America Shield reference. You know, like all those things. I liked how they had Coulson in it again, and I liked how they referenced New Mexico, which we know now is for Thor, and even that stinger was awesome.
Oh, such a good stinger.
I liked the new costume. Like the silver and red, I liked that one because like when I was reading comic books when I started, he had the silver and red costume and he had the triangle design.
What was that? The Sentry armor or
Centurion armor?
Centurion armor, yeah.
I liked that. I liked that it was. Now I forgot his name. Mickey Rourke's character.
Oh, Whiplash.
Whiplash, yeah. I liked that it was Whiplash, but I didn't like how he was an armor, like an Iron Man Whiplash. Which I didn't like, but I mean they tie the story in, and Justin Hammer, I liked his character.
See, now that's where I'm going again. Like Justin Hammer is another villain that's still out there.
And as I was coming to that point, it was like, that's another one that, like, we just assume is still in jail.
Yeah.
You know, but what did he do that was so bad that he needs to spend 14 million years in jail for, right? But Whiplash is the only character so far that they killed off, like officially killed off.
Right. Probably because Mickey Rourke phoned in that performance, and they're just like, we don't want to work with you again. Let's do a script rewrite here in the movie. You're dead now.
Yeah, like, it's funny that you say that now because I remember it, like, Rourke was one of your favorite things in that movie, and I wasn't sold on it.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those where I was like, I didn't care that he was doing a Russian accent. He was doing a good one.
Yeah.
But I didn't care. I didn't like that they tried too hard to make it too much of a personal villain.
Yeah.
Like the sons of the fathers type of thing, and I was just like, and yeah, like just the setup for Avengers was just like,
it's too much.
They were literally like, hey, we got an Avengers movie coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, we have an Avengers movie coming out. Like even that scene where it's like the Avengers Initiative, and it's like Tony Stark is not like, we'll bring you in as a consultant.
Right.
And
at the donut shop scene or whatever it was.
That's so dumb because there's no way you're gonna have an Avengers movie without Iron Man.
Yeah.
So why would you do this needless storyline when you know he's gonna be in that movie? You know. And yeah, like overall, that's the one I've rewatched the least too.
It's same here. You know, like a couple years back, I did right before Civil War. Actually, I rewatched the whole series in a row, and right at the end of that, still, I was like, Iron Man 2. Man, what were they?
Don Cheadle was probably my highlight.
And that's funny for me too, because I believe the recasting with Cheadle came right before they started shooting.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of my problem was like the Robert Downey Jr. Cheadle chemistry in Iron Man 2 to me felt forced. Today, Iron Man 3, Avengers, like all their appearances now they're awesome. Now that's a tag team. But in this, it felt like it was just like it happened. Like he just came on, and it didn't have the same click to me as RDJ.
I can see that. And I remember, like, I liked it, but then again, like I said, I like Don Cheadle. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how I felt about Terrence Howard at the time of Iron Man 1, I've always liked Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
I've never once been like Don Cheadle is like one of those actors where I've seen him in bad movies and been like, he's really good in this really fucking terrible movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So,
but now I love Don Cheadle.
I don't know what else to say except like, I mean, I know that we're saying like it's surprising they have all these bad guys that they don't use anymore. I'm glad they killed off the Whiplash character.
Me too.
Because it was a really bad version of this character. Not that I was a huge connoisseur of Iron Man villains. I liked that they had Whiplash. And they didn't immediately go into Mandarin. But I didn't, like, to this day, even when I was watching it, I remember just being like, of course he's got to be an armored villain. You know? And I was just kind of like, But, the other thing I'll say real quick, I don't like how they've said that Spider-Man.
Oh, Holland.
Tom Holland
was the kid.
Was the kid. I don't like that.
Don't like that.
I don't like that at all. It would be the same thing as if they had Chris Pratt's character be the raptor kid from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, like, we don't need to make the link.
Yeah.
You don't need to go that far to make the link. It's simple. He was a kid. He got bit by a spider. He's influenced by the Avengers.
Oh.
You know?
Done. Yeah, you don't need all that.
He's influenced more by Iron Man because Iron Man is a lot like him. He's that nerdy kid who just wants to do the right thing.
Yeah. It's very simple. Just looking at this now, like talk about the last three, and even going into not so much Thor, but Cap later. Talk about all these villains that are still out there. I really wish we could have. It's too bad that Thanos. It's funny I'm saying it's too bad Thanos is coming now, because all this time it was like, come on, bring on Thanos already. We could have had a Masters of Evil. You know, we could have had the leader, because he's still out there. No one knows about the leader. We could have had the leader go,
yep.
Justin Hammer, I need your smarts for making all these weapons. Abomination, I'm breaking you out. Red Skull's still out there. I know where he is. Like, we could have had a Masters of Evil. And that, to me, that would have been way more fun than Ultron.
Yeah.
Later in Age of Ultron.
Yeah. And we'll definitely talk about that one.
That will come up in Phase 2, obviously.
Yeah.
I would have really liked to see that. And we're not going to see that now.
would have been awesome. And I agree. Like, I don't think we're going to see that now. I don't even think we're going to get close to that with the Infinity movies.
We won't.
You know,
unless Thanos somehow pulls it off.
Yeah, because now, like, I mean, they're talking heavily about how they're going to. It's going to be all the past villains are going to come back, type of thing. And it's just like, I don't think they're going to do that.
I don't think so.
Because it's almost like in wrestling, where if the crowd's already saying like, "Oh, this is how it's going to go," then they're going to go, "Well, we're going to have to do this now," so that they go, "Oh, I didn't see that coming."
Yeah. So,
and it is disappointing, especially because some of these villains, like when you look back at it, you realize they were really good.
They were really good.
Like Stain, I just when we started doing this now, I was like, yeah, that's right, he was really good.
He's out there. He could be in the mat. Like
Justin Hammer, he was good. I liked him because he was like that douchey Tony Stark character.
Yeah.
Like, he was essentially Tony Stark. He just wasn't because he wasn't as cool as Tony Stark. Like, he had all the same things, and it was just he tried too hard to be like Tony Stark instead of being himself, which I thought was a nice little touch.
Yeah. Very cool.
And I mean, Sam Rockwell.
I love Sam Rockwell. And see, that's another reason why I want him to come back.
What was it? Secret Confessions of a Paranoid Mind or something like that?
Yeah.
Where he's like Chuck Berry, and the story was like Chuck Berry was a CIA assassin. That's a bad movie. It's not a good movie.
But he's great.
He's great in that movie. Like, he was so good in that movie that I was.
And I loved him in Matchstick Men with Nic Cage.
But that was a great movie.
That was a great movie.
That was really good. That was like Nic Cage in his prime.
He's a very good actor, and I don't know.
Yeah.
So Iron Man 2. What can I say? I mean, I guess
the weakest out of all of them. It's like least liked, and that's never changed.
It's never changed.
You know, like even when it came out, I remember thinking like, you know.
I hope the next two are good.
That's right. And in fact, it was because of that I didn't have high hopes for either Thor or Captain America.
Right. And I'm glad that Stinky stretched it and continued because Thor was next.
Yeah.
I loved Thor.
I watched Captain America before I watched Thor, but well, you know what? You go first. You go first with Thor.
Okay. I love Thor.
Yeah.
As a character, my dad read me his Thor comics when I was a kid. I've always loved Thor. I love the mythology behind it all, Asgard, and
Yeah, exactly.
Loki. And I've never understood the hate with Thor because a lot of people crap on Thor as a character in the MCU. They don't like his movies, and I kind of get it a little bit with the Dark World, I guess. But the first one, I thought the first Thor was great. It had epic fights. Cinematography was great. It has, honest to God, my favorite score in the whole MCU.
Yeah.
Patrick Doyle did the score for Thor, and it's epic. It's sweeping.
There's
I love that
lot
score.
Of good in Thor. There's a lot of good in Thor, and Thor is the same for me. Like, I'll keep saying this throughout Marvel characters is that he was another character. Like, I loved the concept, but I never really got into him outside of reading comic books at your dad's place because like he was such a huge Thor fan.
Yep.
And I think that's part of the reason why like like you have an affinity to some of these characters for whatever reason. So then it's kind of like now they're cherished. You don't want them to be too far off.
Yeah.
I liked that this was a mix of old like regular Marvel Thor and Ultimate Thor.
Mm-hmm. It was a nice mix.
I liked how there was no like Thor was Donald Blake and he had the cane, and when he whacked the cane, now he was Thor. Like, I liked how they didn't have that, but they referenced Donald Blake.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because that was one of those ones where it just was. It's kind of silly.
That wasn't going to work.
That wasn't going to work. It's not going to work in real.
It would just come off as cheesy and weird.
Yeah, it's not like Shazam where you could do that and it would be really cool. But especially because it's a kid and now he's like Superman essentially, right?
Right.
The casting, like Hemsworth, for me, unknown. I had no idea who the fuck he was.
I only known him as Dead Dad at Star Trek.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah. And
all right.
Looks like Thor.
Yeah.
Right away. I love how the first time we see Thor, he's got the helmet on, and he's like that douchebag fucking jock. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's exactly how Thor started.
The cool older brother that got away with everything, but he was also a spoiled brat because he got everything. And Loki, his brother, which
Tom Hiddleston.
Like, he was really good in Thor. Like, really good in Thor. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, whoa. Because he does a really good job of being the brother, but also the second best.
Yeah.
And then, like, you can tell at times he loves his parents and his brother, but at other times he hates his parents and his brother. And then the reveal that he's part Frost Giant, or he is a Frost Giant, or whatever it's part Frost Giant, right?
Yeah. Part or all? All.
Yeah.
Odin finds him.
That's right.
As a child. It puts that spell on him.
That's right. And so that was really good. So, like, he does a really good job of conveying all those emotions. And, like, to the point where, like, you get why he's doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? Not that, like, I don't necessarily feel sympathetic for him, but I understand. Like, I'm not like, this makes no fucking sense. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. The cast of his parents, you know, like, Anthony Hopkins and Renee Russo was awesome.
Excellent.
You know, my only major, actually, Natalie Portman was one of the first things that was a snag for me, and I love Natalie Portman. I didn't understand why she was doing this movie, and then when I watched this movie, I still don't really know why she did this movie.
I mean, at the end of the day, actors, paycheck, right? But I liked her as Jane Foster. I thought she was a good.
I liked her as Jane Foster. I didn't like her. I liked her as Jane Foster until she met Thor.
Okay.
And then I was like, they do a good job of really quickly establishing that she's really smart, and she's a tough chick. Then she meets Thor, and she's the love-struck cheerleader. And it was so quick that I was like, ugh. And there's no chemistry between them, which is another thing that I didn't like. I don't believe it at all. Like, I believe it in the sense that Thor wants to bang her.
I think the first thing with her being the love-struck cheerleader was his body.
Yep.
She wasn't looking at his personality.
No, especially because he was a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, it was more like, wow, he's hot, and then wow, the science that comes with him really just intrigues me.
Yeah, that's right. Of course. Well, yeah, obviously, because
so much of it was
everything that she was looking at is now proven.
Yeah.
You know, now she's no longer crazy. You know, Selvig's character was great.
Oh yeah.
I loved his character. I even liked Kat Dennings.
Yeah. Dennings?
Kat Dennings? Whatever.
Yeah. Darcy. She was Darcy.
Darcy.
Right?
I loved her character. I even liked her in the second one.
Yeah.
And I know that was one of the complaints, and I was like,
I think she's funny.
Yeah.
I see her not being in the third for obvious reasons. She doesn't fit in that story at all.
I think she's done.
She's done.
She's done. Foster's done.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, but I guess we'll talk about that some other day with Thor Ragnarok.
The part of the movie, like when Thor gets to Earth, is where I start to lose the movie.
Really?
No, hold on. When he's in New Mexico, hanging out with the people, that's where because like, and I've said this plenty of times before, but this will be the first time I say it here. It's where he does that very quick sort of like he's a douchebag. He spends like a day with these people. Now he loves all of humanity, and he's willing to sacrifice himself to the Destroyer armor so that Loki will not so that no one else dies. And even now, I'm still just like, ugh, it's too quick. It's kind of the same with the Ironmonger, where it's just like, give me a couple more days with him, and maybe I'll believe it. But all of humanity, and I think it's like two or 3 days. All of humanity, he literally goes from being the petulant child who is banished to Earth, and within like 2-3 days, he just meets the perfect group of people, and he's just like, I want to save all of humanity. You know, for the guy that's supposed to be the Superman character, like at least in Man of Steel, we have that scene where he's talking to the priest, and he's like, I don't know if all of humanity deserves to be saved.
Right.
He doesn't say that, but that's essentially what he's saying. He's like, because up until that point, it hasn't been that great for him. He knows there's good people out there, but he sees a lot of bad, and he doesn't really, know, and we don't get that with Thor. But I think that's partly because the Marvel Universe is more sunshine and rainbows and everyone's great, you know, but like, it's still too rushed for me that I can't take it seriously. I like the idea behind it, I think, because it's a very heroic move that this douchebag is suddenly going to be like, no, Loki, just kill me. Just kill me, spare them. And then that's that. And that's what, you know, makes him become Thor all over again, like true Thor.
Yeah, he's worthy.
Exactly, exactly. So he's worthy, he can get his hammer, he's got his armor, he can destroy the destroyer suit, which he should be able to, but, you know, give me a little bit more time, and then I'll buy it. And I think part of it, too, is that, part of it is, of course, I don't feel the chemistry between those characters.
Right.
The other part, too, is that Hemsworth, in this particular period of time, not that good of an actor. He does douchebag really well, but he doesn't do stoic hero really well. I mean, his Thor has gotten better, because obviously he's inhabited the role more.
Yeah.
But I think that's the other part. So, but that's ultimately where I'm at. Is I still like it more than Iron Man 2, you know? And I do think that Thor 2 is better, and we'll get to that, but that's where I'm at.
All right.
How do you feel?
I love it. And I love it because it came out around the same time of J. Michael Straczynski's run, where Thor's in Oklahoma and everything. And that is very much this movie, except in New Mexico instead of Oklahoma.
Yeah. That was a really good run. I really liked that run where you had all the... Because this was right after Ragnarok.
Yes.
So everyone was dead.
Yeah.
Then Thor came back, and you realize that none of them actually died, but they're in... He's got to find them.
And it held merit too, because there was like a 2 to 3 year break in between Ragnarok and the Return of Thor. Like Thor was gone from the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
So when he came back, it felt like an event.
Huge. Plus, it was Straczynski, and we were all big. You and I both were big for Straczynski.
Yeah, his Spider-Man run, his Supreme Power, him and Marvel in general was great.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was like I always wanted to see him on Silver Surfer, which we got with the miniseries, and I always wanted to see him on Thor.
That's
so
right.
when they announced Thor was coming back, and it was Straczynski.
And then it's Oliver Cabell doing the art.
Yes. Beautiful art.
And they gave him that updated suit that was very similar to the suit he had.
Which carried off into this. Like,
you know? And I even liked that, like, he had bare arms, and then when it was on, the chainmail came in, and I was like, that's really cool.
Very cool.
I'm still disappointed that we'll probably only get to see him in the helmet in Thor 3.
For the gladiator
and that's
fight.
it.
Yeah.
Just for the gladiator fight, and that's it. We won't see it ever again.
Yeah.
Because, like I said before, in the last, in the Geek Cap, and it was just like, out of all the ones you can get away with, because you see his face all the time. So, but yeah.
I don't know. So I love Thor.
Overall, I still really like it. I just, it's not my favorite. We're coming up on
we're coming up to it.
We're coming up on my two favorites.
Captain America, the First Avenger.
That's amazing.
It's amazing.
And like I said right at the beginning, we were both skeptical of Evans as Captain America.
We were.
And I actually was skeptical that they were doing that shrinking effect with him.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books, he was the same height. He was just game. Like, he was lame. That's he had like a fucked up leg and whatever. But like, it wasn't this huge dramatic change. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I saw the first trailer and I was like, I don't know about this. But then I didn't even see it in the theater. That's right. I didn't see Thor or Captain America in the theater.
That's right.
I watched them after the fact, and I bought Captain America. Like, you were like, you have to see it. So I bought it just like that. I bought it, and within the first 5 minutes, it was the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. In the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh my god, this is Captain America.
Yeah.
Like, and it's funny because, like, I think Michelle said this to me, because I remember I was telling her that I didn't like that they made him so short. She's like, I don't, like, why wouldn't you? Because you're short. And I almost think that's kind of why, because there's a bit of a mirror now. Like,
okay.
Because, like, he's, obviously nobody takes him seriously because he's short, and that's like a fear of mine. Nobody thinks he can do anything physical, right? Things like that. And it's always, like, kind of in the back of my head type of thing. But watching that movie and like, I think one of the things I like the most is that out of all the characters that they've introduced so far, and even in the Hulk, because Bruce Banner doesn't really change much from Incredible Hulk to Avengers.
Right.
Even though they changed the actor, you said like they changed his character like a bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real story arc for Bruce Banner. Just like there's no real story arc for Steve Rogers, right?
Right.
He's already Captain America. He's already that guy that just wants to do the right thing. You know, like even that scene where Erskine's got him and he's like, so, you want to go kill some Nazis? And he's like, I don't want to kill anybody. I don't like bullies. You know,
yeah.
And you're like, yeah. You know? He's like, I don't care where they're from. And you're like, oh my God,
yeah.
This is so good. And so now, like I said, like after the first 5-10 minutes, I was like, this is just awesome. You know, and I even like how they have Peggy Carter falling in love with him before he got the muscles.
Yeah.
Like that drive scene to the actual experiment, she's already thinking like, yeah, I'll bang this guy.
Yeah.
Like
just everything that he is, who he is.
Yeah.
That's what she was attracted to.
Mm-hmm. And for Evans to pull it off.
He pulls it off so great. And like we're coming like off of, again, he just played jockey assholes in almost everything. You know? Like he did the Human Torch in the Fantastic Four movies, which amazingly well.
He was great. He was great in them.
And that was one of the main reasons why he was so Human Torch to me that when they cast him as Captain America, I was like,
yeah, even because the characters are so different.
Yes.
And, you know, and then immediately now you have that range where, you know, he's just that kid from Brooklyn.
Yep.
You know? And that's, like, so good. And I just, like... And the movie itself, I think, is the best written out of all of them. Aside from Avengers.
I find that it's the most unique because it has a very serialized feel to it.
Too.
It feels like it came from back then.
Yeah, it does.
You know?
It does have that. I would say Thor, though. Thor is very unique, too.
It is.
Very unique.
Thor has that classic fantasy feel that I got from like Legend and Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, we should probably do like a Kung Fury thing with Legend, though. Where we watch Legend. Because I haven't seen that movie in so long. And I'm like, man, I gotta watch that movie
again.
Legend's
so good.
Because it's just insane how good that movie was.
I love Legend.
But anyway, I do feel it's one of the best written out of all of them.
Yeah, it has the best supporting cast, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Between Sebastian Stan and Haley Atwell and Tommy Lee Jones.
I love Tommy Lee Jones, like, in that sense that he's just like, the midget, you got the midget to be Captain America.
Yeah.
Look at that guy. We got that guy. And then, like, they do the grenade scene. And Steve Rogers
pops on the grenade.
And everyone is like, the midget saved our lives.
Yeah.
You know?
He's Captain America.
You know? And like I was saying, like, I absolutely love that he was Captain America before he was Captain America.
Yeah.
He was just that guy.
I also love it.
And they give him the classic cloth suit.
Oh, right.
For when he's like, you know,
so funny.
The spokesperson, which I thought was like, and that was a
what
hilarious twist too.
You made me all jacked up so
like,
I can do this.
He gets it. Erskine's killed, and Tommy Lee Jones is like, well, fuck this shit. We can't have an army of you.
Yeah.
So I'm out. And then they're like, well, what about selling bonds? You know. And they do that montage where it's like that star-spangled man with the plan, and he's knocking out Hitler and selling bonds, and then they cut to the war where he's actually there, and none of the troops are having it. They're not, you know, buying into him, and they think he's this big phony. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're just like, wow, like so. And I love that they go like bright and shiny, and then it's like dark and gritty, and it's just like, yeah. So that troop just went missing. They're presumed dead, and here you are, you know? And even they don't, they never really talked about how he wanted to be an artist. That's huge in the comic books. That's one of the things. They show him doodling all the time, and he's the dancing monkey, which I was like, you know, with that Batman stuff where they don't tell you that he's really, really smart, I like that they just showed you that he was an artist, but they didn't say, hey, he's an artist.
Yeah.
You know, the chemistry, I just shot on all over Thor's chemistry with Jane Foster. So much chemistry between those two.
Oh, I know.
Like,
So good.
Peggy Carter and Captain America, you were just like...
And that's the reason why I like the ending of this movie. I cry every single time.
Oh, it's so
it just
crazy.
Breaks my heart. Yes, I cry. I cry because I'm a fucking marshmallow.
Oh, God.
I cry like so easily when it comes to movies because I become so invested in characters and stories.
Exactly. And like that one's a tough one too. But the other thing too is even Sebastian Stan, he's not in it a lot, but you got two different types for him. You had him be like the big protector, Steve Rogers.
Yep.
And then almost immediately you get him being like, holy fuck, like I'm second best.
No,
I'm you.
Yeah.
I'm you now. And you know, and you're like, oh, that's hilarious. And but then like there's all these things, like even you have him like Captain America like leading the troops now. Like he saves Sebastian Stan. They have that first meeting with Red Skull.
Yep.
And Red Skull, for me, he's one of the best villains. Hands down, for me, he's one of the best villains. His motivations are perfect. His look is perfect.
The look is perfect.
You know, Hugo Weaving is bang on with this. You know,
I found him to be probably the most forgettable in the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
See, and
I love Hugo Weaving.
I know.
He's coming off the Matrix. Coming off Lord of the Rings. Like, this guy is fucking good. He's playing Red Skull. And don't get me wrong. I liked him as Red Skull. But I also think that any actor could probably pull that off. So I want Red Skull to return, but I don't care if it's Hugo Weaving playing him.
Yeah, and I agree. Like if he really doesn't want to come back, fuck him.
Anyone can play him now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone could. I mean, they could argue
not anyone,
any of the changes could be made because he spent all that time wherever he was, right?
Yeah.
In the Tesseract, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I really liked him, and I also liked, and I know like every single Marvel movie has that like the flip side villain. So like Iron Man's bad guys are always armored bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, and Captain America's bad guys are always like super soldier bad guys and stuff like that. But he has always been a great bad guy for Captain America. And I liked that they did the same thing with Red Skull that they did with Captain America, where they dialed down the Nazi stuff.
Yep.
And the overt patriotism stuff to make them just sort of good and bad, which works really well. But I don't know. I thought he was great. I love the character. I'm disappointed that we haven't seen him since.
Me too.
You know. But yeah, like I mean, and even for me, for Captain America, for being like Canadian and loving like now, like Captain America is one of my favorite characters. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of this movie.
Yeah.
And because of every movie after that, but primarily this movie, you're just like, holy shit. And the classic costume is actually really good. I liked.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a bit puffy, you know, and you realize that they thought about that in Winter Soldier and then Avengers 2 and everything after that. So it's a bit more form-fitting.
Yeah.
But
it made sense for that time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, they didn't have, like,
he had
special...
the helmet.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had the helmet, he had the suit there. I mean, it was just awesome. So good. Howard Stark was great.
Right, yeah.
Really
He's
great.
Very good.
I still love the scene, like, right when he gets out of, or Steve gets out of the containment unit, and they show, like, Stark touching his abs. And, like, that, they actually say, like, no one was supposed to touch him, and Stark is just,
wow.
Whoa, those abs, and it's always just so funny. Yeah, like, I also like, too, like, they never really talk about how quickly Steve Rogers went to being, like, full, like, Captain America. But they show you he's reading books on the military and army stuff when he gets there, and even before he goes through, they show him doing training and stuff like that. And just all these little things that they do that they don't hit you over the head with. And it's just, like I said, like, I don't think there's anything in that movie I don't like. At all.
I can't really think of much.
You know? Even the way they did the Bucky thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Bucky being his sidekick type of thing. And obviously because it's not a kid, like it was in the comic books, so he falls off the train thing. I was like, that's actually a really cool way of doing it. Because you still have the frozen in ice thing, you know? So it's everything's all on the up and up, but I think my favorite thing where they really tell you, or they show you how smart he is when, like, at the end of the movie, you know, when he's sitting there and she's like, hey, everything's fine. He's listening to that.
He's listening to
radio, and he's just like,
the game is.
What the hell is this? I was at that game, and then they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then that scene where he's in New York.
That very end where it's just.
And he's like, what the hell? And it's just like, a lot has happened since you've been gone, and it's just like, whoa. And then to immediately tie that into Avengers
which is perfect. It was a great transition, like, to go. It was a great movie to be right before Avengers.
Yes, exactly. It's almost like if they did it any other way, I think, like, especially because now it feels like they were saving the best for last, and then they were building up to it. They knew that I feel like they knew they struck gold with Iron Man. And then with Hulk, they were still like, I don't know. But then Iron Man 2, which is too soon, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Thor and Cap, I feel like they were like, well, it's part of our plan. We'll just do it and see what happens.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's just that was such a great movie.
Yeah. Excellent movie. Of course, that leads us into the Avengers.
Yeah, one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
Oh, it was a first of its kind.
Oh. And
for guys like us, and, even maybe to the general public that watch these characters, it was a historic event.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, wow, you guys got this right. You introduced us perfectly to all of these characters, and now they're coming together.
Yeah.
And, like, me seeing Thor and Cap and Iron Man, not so much Iron Man, because I was never an Iron Man fan, but Thor and Cap on the big screen was like, wow.
And for me, it was Cap and Hulk. Those are the two that I really liked seeing on the big screen.
So now you see them together.
All of them. And then Hawkeye, we didn't mention Hawkeye and Thor, but he was a quick little blurb in there.
Yep.
And
then Scarlett Johansson, obviously, in Iron Man 2.
And,
which, funny enough, we didn't mention.
Yeah, we didn't mention it at all.
She was one of the best parts of that movie.
In my opinion, she was the best. Like, when they had that scene where she's taking out all the guys and she's in the suit and everything, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally skipped over. Just look at it, how everything is so bad, and skip the part that was actually good.
Yeah. So then you have the Avengers. You have all these people, and what I really like is they do a great job of with Scarlet Witch, because she's human. She is standing side by side with a god, a monster, a super soldier, and a guy in a fucking robot suit.
Black Widow, yeah.
And nobody's like, excuse me, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you can get to the back of the line.
Yeah.
And even Hawkeye too. Like, granted, he was pretty much out for the entire movie, but even at the end, nobody goes, it's okay, guys, we got this.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is just, let's do it, and nobody blinks, and even the audience doesn't sit there and be like, you shoot arrows, and you have martial arts. How is it that you're with these guys?
Yeah. And I feel like they think that themselves in the movie. Like,
well, they do, because, like, right away...
especially Hawkeye, like, I'm standing amongst giants here. Like, these are...
More so in the second.
Gods and heroes.
More so in the second.
Which
I liked that they started to kind of add that to his character.
Like, what am I doing here?
But I like that, like, without even hesitating towards the end, when Cap's just like, all right, let's go, and grabs the two of them. He's like, you guys got suits? Suit up. No, like, I guess I'll take you guys. It's, hey, let's go.
Don't have powers? Let me think about this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running out of time. I guess you guys, you're probably going to die because you don't do anything.
Hulk's going to show up, I think, and
yeah,
Thor
I'm hoping so.
But...
So...
Right away, it starts off with a bang with Loki.
Now, I guess I'll get right to my only negative part.
Yeah, let's do that, and then we can just steamroll.
Okay, first off, I'm very happy to went with Joss Whedon for this. And I'm happy because Joss Whedon is like us.
Yes.
Like, he created my favorite show of all time, obviously, Buffy.
Oh, was that your favorite show of all time?
It was.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, that was it.
I'm just kidding, I knew that. And you liked Angel, too.
And I liked Angel, and I love Firefly and Serenity.
Firefly was so good.
But he was a TV guy, so, like, you're giving your biggest movie to this TV guy.
Sure, he's a comic book guy.
Pretty much, yeah, he wrote that great run of Astonishing X-Men.
Oh.
Right?
So good.
So
good. And that was one where, we'll do a quick sidetrack, just because as soon as you reference Astonishing X-Men, I'm like, I have to talk about it. But I like that, you know, like I liked Buffy. I wasn't like you.
You didn't have a weird obsession like I did.
I wouldn't say weird obsession. It spoke to you.
Yeah.
It's just like Superman. He speaks to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But with X-Men, and X-Men's one of those ones that speak to me too. Like we grew up with the cartoon and the comic books, and like with Claremont and Jim Lee.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Scott Lobdell.
Yep.
Lobdell and Jim Lee. That's another one where it's very, very near and dear to our hearts. So that run was just wow. It was a celebration of X-Men. It was an evolution of X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
It brought them out of the Grant Morrison phase, which was crazy awesome.
Crazy awesome.
But it didn't say that never happened. It just went on with their own thing, and I mean, had one of the best Cyclopses, one of the best Cyclops costumes, one of the best Wolverine costumes. They brought back Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
The art was amazing.
Kitty Pryde was so good.
Kitty Pryde was the standout. Like both her and Scott, I felt were given the most justice, and just amazing. And Ord from the Break World, a great new character.
Yep.
They took the Cerebra. They expanded upon her. Like it was just much.
Great run.
So good. And the only thing is, it was so heartbreaking when you built up Kitty Pryde, and then you trapped her in that giant bullet. And it was like you talk about crying, and I mean, I'm the same way. I get so into these characters, and I feel for them. And that one, you get to that ending, and she realizes that I can't unphase for one, and that's it for her. And you're just like,
yeah,
you know, and you're like, oh my god, it was just so crazy. And I
don't
know how I didn't see it coming because they build her up so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
yeah. So I was very happy to see him on the Avengers. I was excited for that.
So was I.
But now here's the part you talk about the beginning with Loki in Avengers, right?
Yeah.
The beginning to me feels like a TV show. The whole first act it feels like a television show. And when I started watching it, even though it was impossible not to smile because I'm watching the Avengers on the big screen, I felt like, oh, maybe Joss wasn't the best choice. Because it feels very TVS to me. And honestly, to this day, still, like, even though I love the Avengers, it's perfect 5 because I'm a giddy little kid when I watch it. That first act, I kind of feel like skipping most days.
Really?
Yes. And I don't know what it is. I felt that act was it was kind of boring to me.
Huh. And for me, like, I like that immediately we reestablish Loki, but he's different now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, we hadn't seen him since Thor. And while he was really good in Thor, immaculate in this movie. You know? He's almost like, I almost feel like he was too good because now it's like, now you've got the Loki tweener.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, especially in Thor 2.
Yeah.
But like, and also because, like, he was the same villain in the comic books that brought the Avengers together. So I thought that was really awesome. It was a really wicked nod that they did that, and they didn't have to do that. But, I don't have a problem with the first act at all. Like, I mean,
that's my only problem.
He takes out Selvig. He takes out Hawkeye.
Yep.
You know, and everyone's like, oh, Hawkeye had a short shift. It's like, well, no, he did quite a bit in the movie.
Yes.
It was just bad.
Wasn't him.
You know, and that's like, still, everything he's doing is still awesome.
Yeah.
Like, even the scene where he's literally like, compensating for the win, boom. Like, I don't know. But I don't see what you see, but I mean, whatever.
That's just me. I mean,
yeah.
I felt it in the theater. Maybe because it's just like, I want to see the guys together. I don't care about any of this right now.
That could be it.
And maybe that's what it is every time.
And for me, I like the build-up a lot. Like, I even like that Colby Smulders was introduced, you know, and, like, they expanded upon S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I like that we see that, and we jump to Hulk. We jump to, you know, now it's a newer version of Hulk, you know. I like that it's a bit reverential, but I mean, like, I know what I was saying, like, in the first Hulk, I like how they subtly reference the first movie. This one, I feel like they don't at all.
Yeah.
Which was disappointing, and I realized that after watching it again, it was like, oh yeah, they just kind of...
No mention of it.
They don't mention it at all, and you're right, up until Civil War, you're left going like, well, I know that it's part of Phase 1 because they include it, but is it really? Like, did you guys change your mind after Avengers? Like,
yeah.
But I liked him. I liked his, like, even the intro with Scarlet Witch. I thought was awesome.
Black Widow.
Or yeah, Black Widow. Yeah,
Right.
I thought that was awesome. You know, and like, and even though people are like, Black Widow and Hulk should never have hooked up in Avengers 2, I'm like, it still makes sense to me, and I'll defend that all day long.
Yeah.
You know.
Good. When we discuss Phase 2, you can continue your defense.
I will. But even just the whole scene where like she's all trapped in the chair and it kicks the fuck out of the guy, and it's literally like, yeah, don't worry.
That scene is amazing.
Don't worry, Tony, I've got him. Or Fury. She's like, yeah, don't worry, he's gonna talk. He's like, I didn't say anything, and then meets up with Hulk, and we got Captain America, you know, punching the punching bag, and they do all those flashes to previous movies, and then we reintroduce Tony Stark. Like, everything is great in the sense that if you didn't watch any of those movies, you can still watch this and be like, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I get a feel for everything. Everything makes sense. It's perfect. And you can still jump right in and be like, wow, this is awesome. And like, even though now in retrospect, that cat costume is my least favorite. When it came out, I was like, yeah. Even though it stood out against all the other costumes.
Yep.
It made sense because he was more acrobatic. You know what I mean? He would need to move around lots, and it just it was like a nice blend of new and comic book style, which I really liked.
I didn't so much mind his costume in the Avengers, it was the helmet. It had a weird shape to it, and I still think it has a weird shape to it. Like, they perfected it.
It's because it's the helmet and it joins into the suit.
Yeah. And
that's why it's so jarring. Whereas in Winter Soldier, it's the helmet, and then his suit, it's like a jacket.
Yeah.
Right? And then everything after that, that's what it is. It's just a helmet that he can take off. You know, and you're right. Like, they perfected it in Winter Soldier, and everything after that is just better and better and better. And I think the Nomad costume is the one I'm gonna like the least because he doesn't have a helmet.
He's not gonna wear the helmet.
And it's basically his Captain America suit, but just all black.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, we'll get to that one day, but it is disappointing that it's like finally Infinity War is here, and we have long-haired, bearded Nomad Steve. We have
which of course they're not going to call him Nomad.
No, they have shave head Thor over here, and like they don't look like the Avengers anymore.
Yeah.
This is the moment I've been waiting for.
Yeah, I think depending on how they do it, I mean, they will.
Yeah.
At least I'm hoping.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still gonna be fucking giddy as a child.
You're probably gonna be like, the first chunk of the movie stinks because it felt like a TV show.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the Russos making this one, so I'm sure I'm gonna be happy with it.
Yeah, such a surprise. But anyway,
so
as far as the thing I don't like about Avengers.
Anything?
Just that comment about his costume, like Cap's costume in retrospect, is just one of those. Oh, and killing Coulson, and then bringing him back.
Yeah.
And then never referencing him in the movies after that
ever again.
Because it's like, especially because of the S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show.
Yeah.
Because you love Coulson.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you're Coulson in all these movies. You know, and then to kill him off was crazy. And he goes out like a badass hero too, where he's just like, yeah, okay. And then it's like, you know, and it stops the movie for me because you're like, whoa. And then to have Fury be a little bit of a douche and just kind of be like, bloody cards, and even like, I always forget her name now. I know it's Kobe Smulders.
Oh, Maria Hill.
Yeah.
Yep.
She says later, she's like, well, cards were in his locker, you know, and Fury's like, well, you know, they needed to have something to avenge, essentially, and you're just like, you're a dick. You're a fucking dick.
Yeah.
But, like, it's so crazy, and I love, like, even, like, Tony is just, like, that's probably the most human that you see him. Even more so, even though, like, you know, Iron Man 3 is post-traumatic stress disorder, and then that leads into Avengers 2. He's, like, it's kind of like when Rachel Dawes dies in Dark Knight. I feel like it's that first big loss where now this is real, and it's not like you're playing like cops and robbers.
Right.
The whole world is at stake, and this guy died because you guys couldn't work together.
Yeah.
You know, and Loki just rips them apart. You know what I mean? But then later, when they finally all join up, and you just because like Tony is treated like the leader. Then they get to that final scene in New York, and Cap's calling the shots, and you're just like, "That's fucking Avengers. That's fucking Avengers."
Absolutely.
You know, and
you see Cap just take over that leadership. It's
just immediately like
there's so many moments in this. Like a lot of the movies, the heroes are standing around arguing.
Or
it takes a while. Yeah, or fighting each other. It takes a while for the Avengers to actually assemble.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Till the end, really.
That's exactly what it is.
It's the very end. But it's still like so exciting and mind-boggling to seeing all this happen. Like that forest scene, Thor's like, "You want me to put the hammer down?" And he hits the shield, and so good.
But even that scene, like there's like you said, there's so many scenes where it's just like the first time the three of them fight is awesome.
Yep.
You know, and even like right away, you've got Loki like really just fucking with them right from the beginning. I like
Thor and Hulk in the helicarrier.
That was awesome.
That fight. Oh.
But even like at the end where they're walking out, and it's just like
it's so funny, so funny.
You know the Thor ragdolling of Loki.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a god. What are you, a monster? Puny god. And you're like everything. Like I said, it is the perfect movie, and it's so perfect. Even the intro. So fuck you. But it's such a perfect movie that like that's one of the reasons why the Avengers 2 wasn't as good.
Yeah.
You know.
But it had a lot to live up to.
It had a lot to live up to.
And apparently there was a lot of production problems.
Yeah, but like I'll just say this real quick before
we'll get the Age of Ultron in phase
Avengers 2 is Iron Man 2. Like those are the two where you're just like But yeah, like as far as phases go, and I mean like to get to Avengers didn't feel like a marathon because, well, like I said, for the most part, like aside from Iron Man 2, you know, each movie felt like, okay, we're here, now we're here, and then we get to Iron Man 2, and it's like, but then you get to Thor, now we're here, you know, and now we get to Captain America, now we're here, then Avengers, we're here.
Right.
You know, and I understand, okay, like, it's hard to go from here to now go there, but then we get to phase 2 and they do a really good job of ramping it up.
Continuing that climb, yeah.
But yeah.
So, what do we got? We got Avengers, Thor, Cap, Iron Man 2, 6 movies. How would you rate them?
For me, I would rate them like Captain America, or Avengers.
Yep.
Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Iron Man 2. Oh, sorry.
See, that's the
Iron
problem
Man,
with the MCU.
Hulk, Thor, Iron Man 2.
Okay.
That's right. I always forget about Hulk because they tell us to forget about him.
Right. I know.
But yeah, like for me, Avengers beats out Captain America because
it's the Avengers.
It's like X-Men. You know, it's the first time you ever see it. It's like Spider-Man 1. It's the first time you ever see it.
Yeah.
Even though Spider-Man 2 is better than Spider-Man 1, like I'm talking Tobey Maguire and stuff like that, better across the board. It's that first time that you see it where you're just like, everything that I saw in the comic books or in the cartoons,
it's coming to life.
Now, like, you know, and I like it, even like with Avengers, I like that the technology is such that you have a fully CGI Hulk, but he looks real.
Yep.
You know, and you have scenes where they intersperse between CGI and live action. It's really hard to tell. You know, especially in the final scene where millions of people in New York are killed. I know they don't want us to say that, but that's what happens. But like everything looks real. Like the Chitauri, the nameless foot soldiers, but like,
it's an awesome movie.
The whole Phase 1 as a whole is amazing. One minor misstep in Iron Man 2, and that's pretty much it for me. Anyway, I feel like that. Where are you? What do you have?
I'm Avengers.
Yep.
Iron Man.
Yeah, I can see that.
Thor. Cap.
Mm-hmm.
Cap's another character I grew up with.
Yep.
Right? Those two, and then Surfer and Daredevil.
Yep.
So Cap. And then the Incredible Hulk. And Iron Man 2, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like Incredible Hulk back when we watched it, it was I couldn't pick between Iron Man and Hulk. And now with the MCU from start to finish, Hulk is and for no good reason. I mean, it's a really great movie.
I thought part of it is the Paramount thing.
Well, Universal.
Or Universal, yeah, that's part of the problem.
That's the problem. They can't do a solo Hulk movie.
Yeah.
They can have Hulk in every movie if they want.
Yeah.
They just can't call it Hulk.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
that's the problem.
But like, I mean, for me, it's disheartening that you have Superman that's in the Hulk role.
Yeah.
Which I really like. But like I said before with the previous episode, I do feel like if Justice League is this smash success, like if it's their version of the Avengers, which it should be in my opinion, then I think we'll see a Superman sequel.
I still think we're going to see it. Apparently Matthew Vaughn wants to do it.
Which I'm super pumped for. Like,
I would love to see that.
You know?
So, but that's our MCU Phase 1.
Yeah, Phase 1
Camcast.
is out. It's, I mean, again, same as always, just let us know. Let us know in the comments section. Let us know how we're doing, please. I mean, if there's things we can improve upon. Did you like the more intimate setting? You know? Or...
I hope you did. I was touching legs the whole time.
Yeah, we're almost docking. I said that twice now. Some people know what I'm talking about. Others will pretend not to know. Other people won't know. So if you want to know, hit us up in the comments section. But, you know, I gotta be honest, this is just a blast doing this kind of shit. So, I mean...
Yeah, this is great.
I do think, like, I like that we'll get to a point where we'll be so caught up that other movies will come out and we'll be able to do this once they come out.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm looking forward to that.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Like, when it's fresh in the mind.
Yeah, like I said, like, we agreed to, at some point, do Justice League and Thor.
Yeah.
But that one, I think, will be a good one to
That'd be a good one.
So that's like, hey, look forward to what we'll be doing soon enough.
Yeah, of course. Next episode after this is our Halloween special.
That's right. That's right.
That we haven't recorded yet.
No, we did not record that before this.
Did not record that at all.
Yeah.
But this was great fun. Phase 2 will come soon. We're going to take a break for the Halloween episode.
Phase 2 is going to be crazy, though.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually
Phase 3 is going to be a big one.
Well, that's what I was saying.
It's like 100 movies in Phase 3.
When we talked about it, we can't even really do Phase 3 because Phase 3 doesn't end until, what, like... Captain Marvel?
Well, what we can do is do Phase 3 up to now.
Yeah.
And then what we hope to see from the rest.
We'll have to do it that
We'll
way.
have to do 2 parts on Phase 3.
It's like, yeah, when does Phase 3 officially end? Avengers?
Part 2. Infinity War Part 2.
They're still doing the Infinity War Part 2, that's right. So that's...
It's not going to be called that, but that's
right, because then, because there's Black Panther, there's Captain Marvel, there's there's Ant-Man and the Wasp.
And then there's 5 movies left still.
Homecoming 2? Is that part of Phase 3?
That'll be part of Phase 3 because Peter Parker is apparently going to be the new Tony Stark going forward.
Right. Well, yeah.
So, but anyways, that's Phase 1.
Phase 1.
Facebook.com/GeekPantsMedia, Twitter.com/GeekPantsMedia, Instagram.com/GeekPantsMedia. Oh, so good. So much social media. I don't know how to handle it all.
Yeah, especially because at some point it could have been Northern Nerds.
Or Big Glass of Geek.
Or Big Glass of Geek. Or Talker Texas Ranger. So, I mean, you hear all these, and...
3 Men, No Baby.
Wish Nic Cage was here.
Still not here.
Still not here.
One day Nic Cage will be here.
He knows we don't have...
We have to get up to the greatness level.
He knows we have no money. That's literally what it is. If we had money, even if it was enough for a sandwich, he would be in. Because he will do anything for anything.
Or a sandwich. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Oh my God, the bees!
That was the moment where I went, oh, what happened to my Nic Cage?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bad movie, Wicker Man.
Oh.
Wicker Man, I'll just put on National Treasure again and watch that instead.
Which, again, like, I mean, I don't hate that movie as much as Michelle's a big fan. Oh, Face Off.
I could eat peaches all day.
Face Off is so good.
I love Face Off. Well, maybe we'll do a Nic Cage episode in the future.
Yeah. Because we'll have to end off with our favorites, like Ghost Rider 2, Spirits of Vengeance.
Definitely my favorite.
And I didn't even really like Ghost Rider.
It can only get worse, right?
Yeah. I'm glad that that's not part of, like, the current Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No.
I don't know if we'll even see him on Netflix.
Well, he's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. One form of him.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that kind of stuff.
Robbie Reyes, I think? Is that what he does? Yeah.
Yeah, the car one.
The car one, yeah.
Ghost Driver.
Ghost Driver.
He's not a writer of anything.
But
thanks a lot, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this. Let us know what you thought. And we will see you next time for horror.
These pancakes are delicious.